I'm leaving. All right.
Oh, but a kiss. Oh, okay. I was like,
Come on,
with the person, please. Let me just. I'll see you later when you get back. All right.
Listen, my booking is one day. You handle the kids. You handle your mother.
This is some bull. I'm not rushing out of here, and you're not going to dictate. Look, I'm moving the pillow. Have a good trip, Yandy. All right? This is some.
The day began like any other in the Harris household, laughter echoing faintly from the kitchen. The smell of breakfast still hanging in the air. But by sunset, everything that held this family together would shatter. When Mendeecees Harris walked into his home that evening, he didn't realize he was stepping into a battlefield disguised as a living room. The lights were dim. The air felt off. His wife, Yandy Smith Harris, was gone. Her handbag that always sat near the couch, gone. Her voice, usually calling out, "Hey babe, you hungry?" gone. And in her place sat his mother, Judy Harris, calm, unmoved, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. "Where's Yandy?" he asked, his tone careful, uncertain. Judy didn't even look up. "She left," she said simply. "I told her to." Silence. Then the shock hit. "You what?" For years, Mendeecees had been the one who kept the peace, the bridge between strong-willed women. The man who believed silence could fix what shouting couldn't. But that silence had finally betrayed him. He looked around the room, his children's toys on the floor, the empty chair where Yandy used to sit, and something in him snapped. "You kicked my wife out of our house?" Judy straightened up, her chin lifted. "This is my son's home," she said. "If she can't respect that, she can leave." And with that, years of unspoken resentment crashed into the open. Earlier that afternoon, Judy had been staying for what she called helping out with the kids. To the world, it sounded harmless. Inside those walls, it was anything but. From the moment she unpacked her bags, the air turned heavy. Every decision, what the kids ate, who disciplined them, how the house should look, became a quiet tug-of-war between Yandy and Judy. Yandy, always trying to be polite, swallowed her words until they burned. She smiled when she wanted to scream. She kept the peace for Mendeecees' sake, pretending not to notice the little comments that sliced her dignity apart. "I've been here since before you. This house will always be my son's." To an outsider, small talk. To Yandy, bullets. She remembered every night she'd spent alone while Mendeecees was behind bars, every visit, every tear, every sacrifice. She had earned her place in this home. But now, she was being treated like an intruder. Then came the spark that lit the fire. A small argument, a simple discussion about the kids, that spiraled into chaos. Voices rose. Pride flared. Judy accused Yandy of acting like the house was hers. Yandy, shaking but firm, reminded her, "I am his wife." But Judy didn't want to hear it. Her voice sharpened. "You don't run this house, I do. If you can't respect that, pack your bags and leave." It didn't sound like anger. It sounded like a verdict. Yandy stood frozen for a heartbeat. Maybe she thought her mother-in-law was bluffing. But the look in Judy's eyes told her otherwise. This wasn't a tantrum, it was war. So, without another word, Yandy walked to the bedroom, her hands trembling as she began to pack. Every folded shirt felt like betrayal. Every zipped pocket, another heartbreak. She had built this home with love, faith, and loyalty, and in minutes, she was reduced to a guest being escorted out. She didn't cry in front of Judy. She didn't plead. She simply left. And the moment that door closed, the house felt colder. The laughter that used to fill the walls was replaced by a silence, so thick even the children sensed it. That was the silence Mendeecees walked into. He tried to process the words, but his pulse was pounding, his mind flashing through memories of Yandy holding him down through the darkest years, of Judy praying for his freedom. Both women had saved him in different ways, and now one had destroyed the other's peace. "Why would you do that?" he demanded. "I was protecting my peace," Judy said, trying to keep her composure. "She disrespects me in my own son's house." "Protecting your peace?" He snapped. "You just destroyed mine." And that's when the front door opened again. There she was, Yandy Smith Harris, standing tall despite the tears still drying on her face, suitcase in hand. Her voice didn't tremble. "I just came to get the rest of my things." Mendeecees turned toward her, torn between relief and rage. "Yandy, wait." But she raised her hand, stopping him cold. "No, let me finish. I'm not staying where I'm not wanted." Her eyes locked on Judy, calm but fierce. "You didn't have to like me, but you didn't have to humiliate me either." Judy rose slowly, her voice rising with pride. "You've been disrespectful since day one, acting like you're better than everyone else." Yandy's jaw tightened. "You mean women like me? The ones who stand by your son when no one else will? The ones who visit him every week in prison while the world turns its back? The ones who raise his kids and hold this house together while you take the credit?" The words hit like lightning. Mendeecees stepped between them, his patience gone. Enough? He shouted. Both of you. This is ridiculous. The room froze. The echo of his voice hung in the air like thunder after a storm. He turned to his mother first. Ma, you don't get to make decisions about my marriage. You went too far. For a long moment, Judy Harris said nothing. Her lips trembled. Her pride, the same pride that made her strong, now chained her silence. Yandy looked up Mendeecees, tears glistening in her eyes. He reached out as if to hold her, but she stepped back. I just wanted respect, she whispered. The house that once echoed with love now echoed with heartbreak, and as the night crept in over Atlanta, the Harris family sat in that silence, a mother, a son, a wife, all staring at the pieces of a family that might never fit the same again. The night that followed was unlike any the Harris family had ever known. The house was silent, but not peaceful. That heavy, unbreathing silence, the kind that lingers after words are said that can't be taken back. Mendeecees Harris sat alone in his car, parked right outside the gate. The engine was off. His hands gripped the steering wheel like he was holding his whole world together. He had faced prison walls, media storms, even betrayal, but nothing prepared him for this. Being torn between the two women who shaped his life. Inside, Judy Harris sat on the couch with her phone in her lap, screen dark. The TV played on mute, flashes of color lighting her face, but she wasn't watching. Her heart was loud, her thoughts louder. She told herself she had done the right thing, that she was protecting her son from chaos. But in the quiet corners of her mind, Mendeecees' words echoed, "You went too far, Ma." Across town, Yandy Smith Harris sat in her friend's car, hands trembling, mascara streaking her cheeks. She tried to stay composed during the argument, but now, away from the battlefield, her armor cracked. The tears came in waves. "After everything I've done for that family," she whispered. Her voice broke. "How could she do that to me?" Her friend said nothing, because what could you say? Everyone knew this wasn't just about a fight. This was about years of love and loyalty being tested by pride. Hours later, Mendeecees' phone buzzed. It was Yandy. She had finally texted, "We need to talk." He didn't hesitate. "Where are you?" He replied. They met the next afternoon at a quiet park, away from cameras, away from gossip. When Mendeecees saw her, his chest ached. She looked tired, her usual glow dimmed by pain. "I should have been there," he said before she could speak. "I should have stopped it before it got this far." Yandy didn't cry this time. Her voice was soft but steady. "Your mother humiliated me, Mendeecees. She made me feel like a stranger in my own home." He nodded slowly. "You're right, and I'm not asking you to forgive her overnight. But let me fix this, please." She looked at him, searching his eyes for truth. "Then it can't just be you and me this time," she said. "It has to be all of us. Because if something doesn't change, I can't keep living like this." He reached for her hand. "Then that's what we'll do," he promised. "But Ma's gonna have to understand, my wife comes first, period." The next few days passed like walking on glass. Mendeecees convinced both women to come together, one last time, under the same roof. Not to fight, but to speak. To finally let out everything that had been buried for years. When Yandy's car pulled into the driveway that morning, her heart raced. The same door that once felt like home now looked like a battlefield. She paused before entering, whispering to herself, "Breathe. Just breathe." Inside, Judy sat on the couch, her hands clasped, her face still but tense. Mendeecees paced like a man caught into storms, his eyes darting between them as if searching for the right words to keep them from colliding. "Thanks for coming," he said finally, his voice low, cautious. Yandy didn't sit. "Let's just talk," she said. "Yeah," Judy muttered. Mendeecees sat between them. "We're not leaving this house until we figure this out," he said. "I love both of you, but I can't live like this anymore." The room stayed quiet for a moment. "But I can't live like this anymore." The room stayed quiet for a moment. Then Yandy spoke. Her voice trembled, but her words cut deep. "I'm not asking for power, Judy. I'm asking for respect. I want to be treated like your son's wife, not like some outsider who wandered in." Judy's jaw tightened, but there was sadness behind her eyes. "You made me feel small," she said. "Like I didn't matter anymore. You took over everything, the house, the kids, even him. I felt replaced." That word, replaced, hung in the air. It was the truth behind everything. Judy wasn't angry. She was afraid of losing her son. Afraid of fading into the background. For the first time, Yandy softened. "I never wanted to replace you," she said gently. "I just wanted to be part of this family. There's room for both of us if we stop fighting each other." Mendeecees leaned forward, his voice low, filled with hope. "That's all I've been trying to say. Ma, you don't lose me because I love her. You gain more family. That's how it's supposed to be." The room was still. Then, quietly, Judy's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. "Either of you. I just didn't know how to share him. And for the first time in what felt like forever, the walls began to lower. Yandy reached across the table. We both love him, Judy, just in different ways. You raised him. I built a life with him. There's space for both of us. That was the moment Mendeecees finally exhaled. He had waited years to hear those words, understanding instead of blame. It wasn't a miracle fix, there were no hugs, no dramatic apologies. But it was real. The beginning of something fragile and honest. Later that night, the three of them shared the same house again. The tension was still there, but quieter now. Mendeecees and Yandy sat in the living room, the kids asleep upstairs. The air calm for the first time in days. He turned to her. I know I should have stepped in sooner, he said quietly. You can't fix everything, she replied. But when you stay silent, it makes things worse. You're the glue, Mendeecees. If you don't hold us together, everything falls apart, he nodded. You're right, and I promise, I won't let that happen again. She smiled faintly. For the first time since that awful day, her heart felt lighter. The next morning, a gentle knock came at their door. Yandy opened it, expecting tension, but it was Judy, holding a tray. I made breakfast, she said softly. Just eggs and toast. For everyone. It was simple. But in that small act, there was meaning. They sat together at the table, cautious, quiet, but united. For once, no yelling, no pride, just three people trying to rebuild something broken. Mendeecees looked at his wife and his mother, the two women who had both saved and tested him in ways no one else could. He smiled faintly. Maybe this is a start of peace, he said. Judy looked up, her eyes softening. I meant what I said yesterday, she murmured. I didn't mean to make you feel unwanted. I just didn't know how to let go. Yandy reached for her hand. And I'll do my part too, she said. You'll always have a place here, because no matter what, we're family. For a moment, there was quiet, not the heavy silence from before, but a new kind of silence, the kind that feels like healing. But deep down, they all knew the truth. Peace in the Harris family never lasts forever. Because somewhere beyond that calm kitchen, life was still waiting to test them again. And as every fan of love and hip-hop, Atlanta knows, every calm after the storm is just the breath before another one begins. So the question remains, whose side are you on? Yandy, the woman who fought for her place. Judy, the mother learning to let go. Or Mendeecees, the man caught in the crossfire of love and loyalty because in this house, peace is temporary, but love, no matter how complicated, always finds a way to return.